Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight, or for watching the live video or watching the video that we're making of the program this evening. Tonight, we're going to learn about the Dorchester Santa Toy Drive and the Salvation Army and how those two organizations work together to do some really cool things for the community. But before we jump into that, I do want to thank our sponsors once again, WHCP, for all the great work they do with the technology, coming up with the concept for these programs and all the extra hours they put in to make this happen on a regular basis. The Cambridge Association of Neighborhoods the work they do, the Dorchester Banner, the Dorchester Star, and the Dorchester Chamber of Commerce. There have been a ton of great programs since the inception of this back in the spring. All of those programs are available on WHCP's Facebook page to go out and find and watch. I encourage you to go look at those and get caught up on some of the interesting topics that we had throughout the course of the year. This is the last program of 2020, but there'll be quite a few more exciting programs coming in 2021, and we encourage you to go out and watch for those as well. Just a quick reminder for those of you that have not attended before, you can ask questions using the chat feature. So whether you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on YouTube, they both have chat features that you can go, and if you have a question for one of our panelists during the course of the evening, just type that question in and we'll do our best to get it answered for you. You can also type comments to the panelists if you want to tell them great job or congratulate them on the wonderful work they do. You can also do that if you're not up for asking a question. So again, remember to use that. So again, as I said, tonight we're going to be talking about the Dorchester Santa Toy Drive and the Salvation Army. I think you'll agree after you hear these folks talk tonight. They do some really wonderful things and go above and beyond for the community. And it's pretty exciting to have folks like that here locally that care that much about our local community and wanting to do things to make it better, especially in 2020 with the year of COVID and all the impacts that it's had on that. And so first, I'm going to do some quick introductions of our guests, and then we'll jump right into having some conversation about it. So our first panelist coming to us is Lieutenant Wendy Parsons, and she is with the Salvation Army. And so, Wendy, you want to say hello to the audience for us?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Wendy Parsons with the Salvation Army here in Cambridge. My husband, Lieutenant Bo Parsons, and I are the Corps officers of the Salvation Army of the Midshore, which serves Dorchester County to Kent County and all the counties in between.
Great. Thank you, Wendy. Next, I want to introduce Paul Dendorfer, who is the owner of Blue Ruin on the corner of Race and Gay Street. If you've been by there, it's a pretty exciting place. It's pretty colorful, very lit up. Got some really nice signage from Jason on it as well. And Paul's really jumped into this with both feet. It was pretty exciting for the work he did last year and this year. So, Paul, welcome to the program. You want to say a few words to the audience?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Dendorfer. I am from Blue Ruin. A lot of you have seen me, enjoyed our cocktails. Hope you guys come out this holiday season and enjoy some drinks and some fun. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. So, and really appreciate everything that you do with Blue Ruin, not just with Dorchester Santa, but these guys do a lot for the community. So I want to make sure you get out and support them and just the way they support the community. And then the last guest is our founder of Dorchester Santa Tour Drive. He puts a lot of personal time and effort into this program each and every year. I'm sure you've seen a lot of his work around town, not just Dorchester Santa work, but if there's a sign in Cambridge, there's a pretty good chance that his name's on it somewhere in terms of having something to do with it. So Jason Warfield, the owner of Midshore Graphics. Jason, you want to say a few words?
Hey guys, good evening, and thanks so much for having me tonight. It's you're making me blush. It's just an honor to be part of this community and just living our dream and inspiring and just trying to make the world a better place. So we're ready to go. So looking forward to being a part of everyone else and meeting people and bringing great people together. So thanks a lot for having me. Looking forward to sharing the story.
Great. All right, so let's jump right into it. Let's get into talking about some details. Jason, can you tell us, basically how you got it started? I mean, what was the impetus behind this, getting this going and taking all your personal time to make it happen each year?
I'm going to get winded here. So big picture was this. We've had our company, my brother and myself, for 16 years. 5 years ago, I jumped out on a limb and said, you know what, I want to live my dream. I want to be an entrepreneur. There's things I want in life. I'm not going to be able to do that in the situation I'm in. And I looked myself in the mirror one day and said, I am personally the only one that can make this change. So I jumped off the deep end, and 5 years ago, I guess now we're full time with Midshore Graphics, my brother and myself, and we have another partner that works with us named Avery. He's very cool, but I hit a wall. The big picture was this: like me being a new dad, family, the way I've been brought up from my parents, the way I've been, what my dad, my mom has led me to do. I mean, this even goes back to JC's days. I don't know if anyone in the community remembers the JC's, but I had the opportunity and shared a memory with my father that we went and hung Christmas lights downtown. And so it was instilled very young. Long story short, my stories are never short, but Chris Brohan, the owner of RAR, was in my shop when we were doing a bunch of work for those guys. And I hit that wall of seeing Christmas and understanding it. And then something inside me really came alive. And I was like, look, I'm a business owner. I'm in a community a lot. How is the community? What can we do better? And I was like, I want to teach good in my kids. So when this came about, I told Chris, I was like, look, I have an idea. It'll bring the business community together. It'll bring Cambridge together, all for the power of bringing good people, bringing prosperous businesses, inspiring, empowering, and simply making a difference in someone's life. And honestly, at the end game, whether hopefully I'm still doing this when I die, it's my goal. But the bigger picture is this: if we can affect our community, if I can affect my kids to be a good dad, and kind of get a little emotional because my feelings are so wrapped up in this, and I love this mission. And there's going to be more missions to come, I guarantee it. But that's how it started, and right now we're it's growing. It's amazing of how this is evolving. And like Wendy's involved hardcore. We're supporting Salvation Army. Blue Ruin stepping up hardcore. A lot of businesses, a lot of private community stepping up and saying, I want to make a donation. I believe in what you're doing. I want my community to be better. We're simply orchestrating it and just kind of like just trying to get better at everything we do. And you know what? If we can inspire somebody to make a difference, I think the world's simply going to be a better place. So that's kind of my momentum that's getting me triggered for this.
Cool. That's really good. So you've been at it for it sounds like 4 or 5 years now, and you've done some great fundraising. You've set really, really high targets for this year. So what drove you to set those high targets, and how are we going to make sure you achieve those?
Yeah. So guys, like when we set out on this mission, I'm one that's very extreme. So I like taking things to as high as we can go. Last year in 2019, when we went to the Salvation Army and dropped off of our boxes, and you can check our pics out on our Facebook, and everything's legit. There's nothing that goes in any of our pockets. I'm excited about just giving back. I invest in my community as well as Paul and everyone else, and all businesses that are affiliated with this. Where that bar came from, I don't know. I felt like this year is more important than ever. A lot of businesses are struggling, but what's amazing in the bigger picture of things is struggling businesses are still making things happen. And that's positive to me, and I love feeding off that. We hit a bar financially, and it was the first year we really have tried to put a dollar amount on something. So what do we do with the money that we get from the community, or investments or donations that are made into this organization? We go shopping locally. We want to we keep everything here. The $12,000. We have a billboard, and it was very cool of Mr. Jeff Williamson of Williamson Real Estate to donate that to us for December, to where we can have a little temperature gauge. I don't know if people's been checking it. I try to update it when I can in our busy business life, but I think we're already at like 6,600 this year, and that's come from private donations. More events to come, but once we fulfill whatever funding we have, we'll go shopping. We'll buy a ton of toys. We are teamed up with the Salvation Army, with Rescue Fire Company. They get angels to help out through the Salvation Army as well. And we fulfill all needs. We're here to bring the business core together and just affect people. So, you know what? If we've got $30,000, that would be remarkable. But $1 or one toy is a success. So no pressure. We've already won this year at 2020, and we still got plenty of time left. And if you want to get involved, please call.
Great. So with that, let's jump over to Paul real quick on that. So Paul, what got you and Blue Ruin involved in this? What got you excited about getting engaged and being part of the program?
I mean, one of the biggest things, I'm all about the community, and everybody who knows me, big family guy, 5 kids and all, so keep pretty busy at home. But one of the things with my kids, I wanted them to always have a good time with Christmas. And there was difficult times we had when as the kids were growing up a little bit, though, me always making sure that they had a good Christmas, and people around me helped me with that. So my thing was like, I wanted to make sure everybody else could, have a good Christmas as well, just like my kids were able to. And this community, I love this community. Cambridge to me is like a second home. Like, I love it. Everybody's very supportive of me, and I want to be supportive back. And I love that everybody comes together. Last year when we first got into it, talking to Jason, and we did the first Santa Goes Blue event, talked to everybody in the community, and everybody was so giving, and with the donations that they did for silent auctions. And then we did a cocktail that people were glad to support. And last year we raised $3,000 from the one event, and I was super excited by that, with the outpour of help and everything. And this year we had more time to do more things, and I was excited to try to plan more things. And I got a new from Best Wine and Spirit who teamed up with me, and he's helped me pull off a few events. And with the whole COVID thing happening, one of our events we were doing at the beginning of this year got moved to November, and Abby Messick from the Hyatt was grateful enough to let us do the golf event that we did. So Masters Goes Blues, that was another event we did for the golf. So my biggest thing is, like, Blue wouldn't even be here without the community. So it's my way to thank the community for embracing Blue Run.
So you mentioned it. Talk a little bit about the Masters, right? I mean, I think some folks had some good time there. Who actually? I mean, there's been a lot of trash talk since, but who actually won? What was the outcome of the event? I mean, talk a little bit about that event to let people understand what you did to raise some funds for this program.
So the one cool thing about the Masters event was we took the Masters and we did our own little logo with Blue Ruin. We had, the Masters event, the winning golfer gets a green jacket. So we actually took that and made a blue jacket with our logo. So the winning team won that jacket. And then throughout the day, all the par threes, we put a tasting cocktail of things that we do here at the bar. And then we had some silent auction items out there as well, with Vintage and Doco Vino helping out. One of the local reps that we use, Leanne Young with Bacchus, helped donate some things too. But it was all around good time. Like, everybody came out and donated toys. We filled up 2 boxes from people donating toys for the golf event. We raised a significant amount of money for it as well. The winning team was Scott Dorsey's team. But it was a good time. Like, I was getting able to ride around in the golf cart, check out everybody, have a good time with everybody, talk to everybody. We had a blast. Like, it was a good time. It was a very good thing to see everybody have a good time with it. And this will be the first of many Masters events that we do going forward.
Right. That was going to be my question. So it sounds like you're already planning some more, which is great. And I think everybody had a great time with them in terms of doing that. So the other thing, Jason, I understand that we got a parade planned for this coming Saturday. So you want to talk a little bit about that? And we actually have a map to put up on here in a second after you talk a little bit about it. We've got that we can show folks.
Yeah. So obviously we love Christmas, right? Everything in life's about traditions with me, starting early on. So the bigger picture was this. It was unfortunate with COVID happening that there wasn't going to be a Christmas parade in Cambridge. Bruce McWilliams and his team has always put it on, always put the effort in to make it be over the top. We found out it was canceling, and I talked to our core group, and I'm like, guys, I was like, this is a tremendous opportunity for just to spread joy, cheer, say thank you to the community and people who are supporting this. And hopefully people learn about who we are, what we're doing, what our mission is. But most importantly, I still love seeing Santa Claus, right? So we're able to bring Santa Claus into the community. So when we're growing with this, I was like, let's do it. If it's a one-off thing, fantastic. But I think there's gonna be a lot of Santas with plexiglass in front of them and no knee sitting this year. So this is all that we could do to kind of say thank you, bring all the core together for a parade that's going to highlight the things in the community that matter, which is police departments, our elected officials, Salvation Army. Hopefully we get to say hi and you beep to us. We'll accept a toy if someone wants to drop one off while we're driving by. But in the fire trucks, that's going to carry Santa. So we're trying to do our part and keeping a tradition alive that could have simply been axed and forgotten about, and just spread hope, show love, and just kind of let the community know we care, that we're there for you regardless of what your situation is, and just smile. The weather's going to be iffy, but we're rain or shine. Santa Claus might be wet, but I'm sure he's used to getting that when he's traveling all over the world, spreading joy and bringing something special to the families at Christmas time. So, but it'll start, Bill, you got the route to share, but at 12 o'clock Saturday, and should go maybe, 2 hours. But our focus is on what we can handle. It's going to start in Cambridge, hitting all the wards. It'll break up, start again in East Newmarket, and hit the northern part of the county, ending in Hurlock at the train station. And just basically, again, just to say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then, Paul, I don't know if it's a secret. Are you allowed to talk about your special float that you guys have? Or are you trying to wait?
Yeah, we'll definitely be excited to talk about it. So one of our local guys that we've become friends with recently, Austin, is donating his truck for the day. Tom Hutchinson and Brandon have given the crab basket. So Tom Hutchinson is going to build a mini version of the crab basket in the back of this truck, and we'll be driving around with that. So I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out. Mini crab basket.
Yeah, hey, Bill, I meant to mention too, though, thank you guys and Chamber of Commerce and kind of helping coordinate this as well, and everyone else involved, because we couldn't do it without you and your expertise from what you guys did to give back to the community in July, which was awesome for the 4th of July. So thanks for that.
Yeah, and appreciate, and Adam Pritchard and the fire departments. I think we're going to have 6 trucks, I think I heard, or at least in the parade, along with Sheriff Phillips. I think he's going to actually be leading the parade for us. Cambridge Police Department's going to do a great job, just like they did in July, getting us around the route. We'll do to minimize traffic. There are routes. The map was up briefly, but they're all on Facebook. If you go to the Dorchester Santa Toy Drive Facebook page and go to the event, you can see the maps where we're going to be going for that event. If you miss Santa during this particular parade, at 5 o'clock, the Cambridge Fire Department is going to go back out and actually hit all the neighborhood streets that we didn't, because we're just hitting the high level. So we're traveling and trying to hit each ward of the town and kind of get a little bit of coverage so folks get a chance to see them. But later that night, Cambridge Fire Department is going back out with Santa, and they're going to ride through, weather permitting, that we don't get thunderstorms in. That weather's kind of iffy, but that they'll be driving through and doing that. That route you can find on their Facebook page. You can find it on the Chamber Facebook page, and it's also on the Dorchester Santa Facebook page. So you can see the route that they're going to follow as well. And there's both boat parade, but it looks like the boat parade may need to have to move because the wind and rain is not good for boats. Heavy wind and rain, it's not good for boats. So we may be shifting that a little bit, but there's a lot of things happening on Saturday. So that should be a good time for everybody. And then there's before that though, tomorrow night actually, I believe, is the Santa Goes Blue event. Paul, you're having another one this year, right? You talked about.
That's right, our second annual one. So I'm kind of excited. With everything going on, we're going to do some little things different this year. Last year, we were able to do it all inside. We're going to divide it up a little bit inside and outside. We'll probably have the music outside, silent auction items where everybody has been generous again. Simmons Market, Vintage, Doco, all the boutique shops downtown. We're going to do a couple special ones where I'm auctioned off, and then Doug, another bartender of mine, is being auctioned off. So, and then Anoop from Best Wine and Spirits is going to be donating a bottle of Pappy 12-year bourbon, very exclusive bourbon.
Wow.
So that's awesome. A lot of cool stuff. And then we'll have a cocktail, Andy King cocktail. And we're going to have two guest bartenders, Jason Warfield and Anoop, going to come help us bartend for the night. So the tips we make during that time will go to the toy drive. So a lot of fun stuff that we're going to do for.
I got a heavy hand, guys. So if you want to have a good time, stand.
All right, cool. So that event again is tomorrow night. It's the 4th. So at Blue Ruin, Race and Gay Street, and then the parade will start on Saturday at noon. We're starting at Delmarva Community Service, and then coming up Race Street, and so you can see the map online there to see where we're going to go, and then we'll head up and go up through the northern part of the county. There is a Vienna parade scheduled for Saturday night as well. That's why we didn't continue on into Vienna. They're actually having their parade at 5:00 on Saturday as well. So make sure you get out to see that. So Jason, toy boxes. You got drop boxes throughout the county. Do you have the list of where they're at now, just so people know where they can go drop off toys?
Yes, sir, I do. So this year, we've got roughly 26 businesses that you can drop toys off to. So obviously my company, my brother's company, Midshore Graphics, Cabin Fever, Mr. Martin Detailing, Blue Ruin, RAR, McCready's Hearth and Home, Chamber of Commerce. Let's see here. Hebron Savings Bank is a spot. Thomas Jewelers is always an awesome supporter. They are super amazing and so generous, and donated $250 this year towards the cause, which is super great. Train Garden is going to be happening soon, so pay attention to that. They'll have boxes out there and accepting toys as well. They're doing something kind of unique this year, just to keep the tradition alive. So make sure you participate with that. I believe the county's has a box. Chop Tank Bowling, WHDP is always a spot you can put it at. We got Tidewater Physical Therapy, who's been with us since day one, which is pretty awesome, and a few others that I hadn't mentioned yet. B&G Foods has stepped up again, and they get all their employees together and have fun with it as a company, and always brings like 3 or 4 boxes filled with toys, which is amazing. Bringing the spirit up. The YMCA stepped up this year, Dorchester County YMCA, and it's got on. Bombay Taka has in town, which is cool, welcoming them. And these are some newer ones. EcoView of Delmarva, Chop Tag Health, Heirloom, GKD USA. They're having fun with it. Harbor Dental, ES Hubbard's, Midshore Board of Realtors with Sharon Real Estate is a spot. Snow's Automotive. And I apologize if there is one that's missing or two, but this should be pretty solid. There's just so much happening on the regular, but we also too, like RAR and other restaurants, have these really cool, something we uniquely did this year, guys, as something different, because for those who may not be able to go to a restaurant or feel comfortable going into a situation, we developed, and Bill, you help with this, a QR code that restaurants can put on their table, scan it, make a quick donation, $5, $10, whatever you want. It goes into our funding. And then also too, on our Facebook, there is a link in which you can make a donation there. Everything is tax deductible. Our 501c3 goes through the Dorchester Chamber. So there's so many ways to get involved, and it's not over yet. Things are still popping. So let's have fun.
Yeah. So let's put up the contact info. If anybody else would like a box, there's still time. So if you're listening to this for the first time and you would like to get involved and have a box to collect toys, can we put up the contact info for the toy drive, and we'll get that for folks to be able to take a look at. And then we also got a message in from Anup. He's actually watching. Thanks, Anup, for watching. He says he'll be accepting monetary donations up at Best Wine as well. That will come in. So you can either go to, like to Jason's point, go to Facebook. There's a link there that you can click to actually make a donation, or you can get the. You can stop by the chamber. We actually have little stickers with the QR code on at the chamber. You can pick those up. We actually have stickers that Jason made as well that says that you're an elf. So if you donate a toy, you can grab a sticker and show off that you're actually an elf. So stop by and get those. But on the screen now, you can see if you're interested in getting involved at all, either whether it's making a donation or you want to have a box at your location or what you want to do. Basically, lots of ways to do that. So reach out. So Jason, you touched on this a minute ago, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more because we are asking now about cash donations. So what do you do when you get all that cash? What happens with it? You got all the toys in the boxes. We run around and get all those in great big trucks, and usually Brooks helps out with that.
Jay Clayton's been phenomenal with pulling through. Wendy, last year was incredible. How many boxes showed up with toys to fulfill a last-minute need for you guys. So all the monetary donations that we receive, like last year, for example, we took $3,000 shopping to Walmart. So we had our core groups that's helped make this possible, such as the Dorchester Young Professionals, Chamber of Commerce, downtown Main Street. Hell, anyone with families that you want to partake to teach a lesson of the value of giving, you're welcome to instill what matters in life. So every penny that we get is going back into the community. And hopefully this will be something that we continue to grow with. Paul and I were just BSing briefly, like, do we send out mailers for people to be creative to send something in like Toys for Tots does? And let me hit on that. Like, they're a good organization. The bigger picture for what we do here and the whole inspiration too behind here is that, look, guys, we're the second poorest county in Maryland. I'm not proud of it. I want it to be the top. Does anyone else want to do that with me? That's where we're going. So let's change that. And how do you do it? It starts here, like what we're doing with this foundation. So how do you get involved? What can you do to make a difference? It's the movement. So I would love to talk more about it to anyone who wants to start their own, to try to keep the positive vibes going and just make a difference in the world that we live in. But every toy, every penny stays in Dorchester County. I wish there was a toy store in Dorchester County. So if anyone wants to open, I will come shop whatever money we raise there and not go to Walmart. I hate to drop that name, but we're doing what we got to do. So that's what's happening.
Cool. All right, and then you deliver. You just mentioned it, and Wendy's been sitting there patiently with us as we've been talking. But you take all the toys to the Salvation Army. So talk about that relationship and how it got started.
Yeah, I think, Bill, you helped bridge the gap, which is really cool. We started the first year, and when this came together, we were connected with the school system a little bit, and they develop a list of families that's in need, and it's just there's a few of us that are putting this on, right, and putting the effort in, and I wish there was more time, and you can't buy time. So streamlining this was great to basically come forth with positive effort and find two remarkable foundations just like ours that are to support. So Salvation Army, always helping people in need, in the fire company, saving lives and spreading joy. But, where would we be as a society without foundations like the Salvation Army? I'm so blessed and thankful of everything that myself and my family have. Not everyone has that opportunity or has created that opportunity for them. So you can do it. Anyone can do it. I want to be a part of inspiring, just as what you do, Paul, or anyone else that's a part of even this simple, small organization. This is very minute on something larger that we can get at. So not just for the Dorchester Santa, but even bigger movements and communities. I'm seeing like it pop up, like even, Sergio from Mr. Martin Detailing teamed up with Groove City Groceries on Pine Street and gave a bunch of food out to homeless people or people in the community of need. Like, this starts deeper than just like us, but maybe we're part of something that could be bigger that allows everyone else to think outside the box and what can they do. But it's an honor, Wendy, to be a part of helping your movement and people that need help and just empower, inspire, feed, whatever it takes. It's all going to come back at you. Karma is a real thing.
Cool.
So.
And so that's a good segue into talking, Wendy. So Wendy, can you talk a little bit about specifically first, and we'll get into some other areas, but how the toy drive has actually helped you over the last few years, and what you think this year with the volume they're going to be coming at you with and the need, how it's going to help you out this year specifically.
Well, thank you, Bill and Jason. You guys do a great job. Thank you so much for all your support and for just coming behind and alongside actually the Salvation Army in what we do. Last year was an interesting event because we did have some toys stolen from our distribution center, and it was unfortunate, but most of those were Dorchester County Angels. And so the toys that were gathered and purchased by Jason and his team actually refilled those Angels. I don't know how we would have done it without him and his team, and that was an amazing thing. That going into this year, those toys are going to help support what we call Forgotten Angels. We take the angel tree every year, and we take applications from families who are going to be in need, and the need is greater this year. Some of the letters and emails that I've received, people have never asked for assistance before. And people who would normally adopt angels are not adopting this year because they're in need as well. And so we have angels that have applied, families that have applied for the Angel Tree program. We don't always have this year, especially, we haven't had the same number of adopters as we do adoptees. And so what happens with the toys that come through Jason's program will go to fill those Angel Tree requests, and it makes Christmas possible. Without that, well, let me just say it, just Jason and his team, it brings joy. It provides hope where there is none. And that's how we plan to do it again this year, is to make sure that there's not an angel on our list that goes without at Christmas time. They'll all have something.
That's awesome. So you mentioned the families reach out to you. How would a family reach out and contact you or apply to you guys? What's the process for them letting you know they have a need?
Last year it was in person, but because of COVID, we had to come up with an innovative way for these folks to be able to reach us. And so they applied online. That presented its own challenges because not everybody has online access, not even through their phone. So we still have a lot of angel families that we have to work through who weren't sure how to upload their information. We had an original deadline date of October the 31st, and we already have approximately 470-ish, 75 angels, but we've got more that I have to go through and finish fulfilling their application process. So the best way to reach me, though, is through the Facebook page, Sal Army Cambridge, on Facebook. That's where I'm most likely to answer a response because I'm on my computer quite a bit. And then we can make sure that they get their angels in the system, and we get them out there and get them adopted.
Great. So Can you take a minute, because I've watched some of the logistics. I've been involved in it, some through Alan Nelson and the work we do, and with Rotary being involved with you guys. So we're only on the tangential side, but I don't think the public understands the logistical nightmare you have, and you're getting some good support this year from a building owner. So can you talk about just to explain to them? You don't have to go into great detail, but just so they understand how complicated and how labor intensive this is to make it happen.
Well, Christmas for the Salvation Army starts in January. You start trying to make sure you have space to do your angel tree distribution. And if you're talking about 500 plus angels, you need a warehouse that's a grocery store size. And those things take time, and people have to be involved to have those discussions. Then you have to start getting your documentation together, get your advertising together, find out how you're going to reach out to people. And then you start in August. I start in August, get everything ready to publicly announce when angel tree signups are going to start. They started the second week in September this year and ran through October 31st. And all that support, online support, helping them figure out the website. And then there's gathering all that data on the other side, getting all the angels organized, figuring out what counties they're in, and then setting distribution date, distribution time, when can you come pick it up. And then there's food that goes with it, because we do provide Thanksgiving and Christmas meals to these families as well when they sign up to the Angel Tree program. And then there's the need for volunteers. So it's a massive train of things that have to happen in order so that Angel Tree doesn't derail before Christmas happens. It's a lot of moving parts. And when it's over, it's time to put my feet up and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah. And you touched on it a little bit there, but so we've been talking a lot about toys, but you guys do a lot more than just toys as part of the Angel Tree. So what are some of the other services that these folks get and that you guys provide to them in addition to the toys that you're actually getting, which are vital? Because obviously we want the young children to actually have a really good Christmas, but they need the rest of the family and some other things to do. So what else do you provide?
We provide food boxes at Thanksgiving and Christmas. They get a full meal, a full holiday meal. With all the stuffing, with all the trimmings, stuffing and gravy and cranberry sauce and a bird. And should the need be greater than that, and we do provide that based on family size as best as we can, and donations are needed to support that. Food costs money. And so we start working early on to gather that food. We buy local. Simmons Center Market is our grocer of choice. They've been wonderful for us.
Tremendous.
Ricky and his team are just marvelous. And then if there is a need beyond that, we work through our social service office to get the family the things they need. It could be coats. It could be assistance with rent to get through Christmas because they bought some Christmas presents. It could be assistance with utilities. But the Angel Tree program itself is 2 holiday meals and the toys. And the holiday meals are also provided for the food insecure or the seniors in our community as well, who might not have enough to be able to buy a holiday meal for themselves.
Great. So, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show, so I'm sure you're going to want to talk about Friday. So I'll let you get to that in a second. But the Red Kettle, which is important to you guys, how has COVID impacted that, do you think? And everybody, make sure everybody understands Red Kettle is still on. Right, there was some talk that it might actually not happen. So talk to us a little bit about that program and how that helps you out.
The discussions about Red Kettle actually started in this year because of COVID. They actually started back in May. We weren't sure what it was going to look like nationwide. And when the decision was made that Red Kettle would continue, the territorial headquarters for the Salvation Army came behind all of the Salvation Armies in the South and has provided PPE for all of our bell ringers. The impacts have been, we've had some stores not agree to have the bell ringers this year because of COVID to minimize exposure, and we understand that. Some places in some cases we haven't been able to hire bell ringers. Some of our most faithful bell ringers are some of older folks. They either are paid, they're employees, or they're volunteers, but because of COVID and because of their compromised health, they're not coming out. So we had to find some really innovative ways to continue with Red Kettle. So we're still out there in some locations across the Midshore. We're definitely at the Walmart here in Cambridge. But we've also set up what we call countertop kettles. You can find one in Maiden, Maryland. You can find one at Bay Country Bakery. And it's a little countertop kettle. So if you happen to visit, there's also one at Simmons Center Market. If you happen to visit a local vendor, you can drop some money in that little kettle. But we also have a QR code, and we have an NCF tag that you can actually place your phone up there and make a digital donation if you don't carry money anymore. And the QR code and the NCF tag are coded straight to the Salvation Army of Cambridge. So your money that you donate is going to fund the programs that we run all year long.
Great. And so do you want to talk to folks about to try to see if you can win the contest on Friday?
I would love to. Thank you. The national commander of the Salvation Army, the national headquarters, is based out of Alexandria, Virginia. And he issued a challenge to all Salvation Army officers across the United States to see if any of the officers in the country could raise more money than he could on December the 4th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Walmart. So I will be out at the Cambridge Walmart from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Friday. I'll have my bonnet on. I'll have my bell going. And if you are interested in helping put Cambridge on the Salvation Army's map nationwide and help us win that contest, the contest prizes are a visit from the national commander, support from the national commander for local programs the Salvation Army is running. We have some great youth programs that we're going to be gearing up for next year, plus our shelter program. And his support is really important for us. The winning officer also wins a pair of tickets to the Dallas Cowboys football game on Thanksgiving Day in 2021. But the real winners of all the money in that kettle are the folks here in this community, because that's where that money stays. That kettle money that I raise from 3 to 7 on Friday stays here on the Midshore to support the programs that we do to support this community.
Great. And speaking of which, and you just touched on those, let's touch on a couple more, because you guys do a lot of stuff. So one of the other things you're actively involved in is the cold weather shelter. Can you talk a little bit about that program and when it runs, how it runs, and what kind of support you need from the community? Because I know a lot of folks that are involved in helping, and you could probably use more. So.
Absolutely. This community is so amazing. The cold weather shelter are the 2 trailers on our property, and it is a seasonal sheltering program. Those trailers open up. The cold weather shelter opens up on December 1st, so it's open now, and it runs through the night of March the 31st. So the coldest times here on the Midshore. Where people don't have emergency shelter. In some cases, they might have just, slept in a tent, but it's just too cold for that. And so those trailers open up during this cold weather season. What's so amazing about this community is already almost every meal has been provided for throughout the entire 4-month period. There are people who sign up and they give us a call the day before, ask how many people are in the shelter. And they provide a full service dinner, chili, spaghetti, tacos. The shelter folks eat really well during the cold weather season. And just the outpouring of support that this community gives with things like sheets and blankets and hygiene items and socks and hats and gloves. I don't know that there isn't a time where people from this community have ever not given, and we couldn't be more blessed by it all. If you want to come alongside us and help provide any of those things, I think the one thing we're in need of right now are ponchos for inclement weather, maybe the collapsible umbrellas for inclement weather. And I think we're looking at possibly needing more pillows, because we do have to cycle through pillows as people come in and out of the shelter.
Great. Oh, and I've also been lax on my job. I need to remind the folks out there, just get reminded to if you have questions that you'd like to ask any of the panelists or comments, make sure you use the chat feature to put those in so you can ask those questions. So if you have any of those, get those in. We still have a few minutes left to get those questions in. So one other program that you guys, it's pretty big, pretty visible. A couple of years ago, you guys moved up onto Route 50 and with your thrift store. So can you talk about that? It seems busy when I ride by it regularly as I go up and down the highway, but talk about what that store does and how it plays into your mission.
The family store out there, that particular location's been open for a few years, not many. To talk about what it does besides just being a retail thrift store, is it provides employment. So it gives people the opportunity to work in it's very family oriented. So a lot of the folks know each other. They spend time together, but it also gives them the training they need in retail. Some of our folks have moved on to other retail outlets, other retail stores, and are able to use the experience that they have at the thrift store to move their career forward. We're also a great spot if you are an environmentalist and you don't want your stuff to go in the dump and you want to send it through to us, gently used. We can make sure it gets out on our sales floor. And I know there's a lot of people out there that love to go a good thrift store deal. They love to go to the thrift stores. We have furniture, we have clothes, we have jewelry. We're going to be having another Bag the Jewel sale in January where you can fill up a whole lunch sack full of jewelry for $10. And then all the proceeds, all the profit from that store support the mission of the Salvation Army in Cambridge for the Midshore throughout the entire year. So it does a lot of different things. We also provide clothing vouchers for those in need. They come through our social service office, might need shoes, might need clothes for work. They finally got a job and they don't have jeans or T-shirts. They can get a clothing voucher, go out to the store, get what they need. And then lastly, we do have the opportunity to provide for those who have been fire victims. People lose everything and they just need a few things to get them through. They can come out to the store with a voucher and we can make sure they have plates and cups and maybe silverware and blankets and whatever we have available that we can give to them as they work to get back on their feet.
Great. So last question, somewhat loaded for you, and we're going to get back talking about the toy drive here in a second, but what do you need from the community like now and then even throughout the year? What's the best way for people to provide support to your organization overall and the best way to get to you to provide that support?
Well, of course, monetary donations are always welcome. We really need hands and feet. Again, the community has been great at providing and making monetary donations and bringing food to the shelter and supplies of that nature. But as I get ready to go forward into this angel tree distribution, that requires a lot of hands. And I know that it's a challenge. This time, people don't want to come out, and we do understand that. I've had extra PPEs made available to me. So if you want to come help set up the distribution center, if you want to be there on distribution day, I have to make a side comment here, Bill, because on distribution day, when that family comes up and you bring them that big red bag full of toys, or, 2 big red bags full of toys, and you give them that food box and that big old fat turkey, and they stand before you with tears in their eyes, and they say, if it weren't for you, because it's not me, it's the community here in Cambridge. And I want to make sure that you all know that you get to experience that thank you from somebody who really needed it, because that is where the blessing is. And so if you can come out for distribution day, which is December 19th, if you can come out, help set up the distribution center any evening before that. If you want to help put toys into the big red bags, there's sanitizing that has to happen. I really do need lots of hands and feet to get it done.
Hey, can we put the contact numbers up one more time for Wendy, so folks can see those and get those jotted down, so you can actually see those to reach out. And again, great work that the Salvation Army does here locally and around the world. But we want to make sure that you guys are aware of what they do here, and if you can reach out and help them, that would be fantastic to do that and get it done. So.
I will just very quickly.
Sure.
I'm much more inclined to answer through Facebook. So if you have Facebook Messenger, and you can send a message to the Salvation Army at Sal Army Cambridge there on Facebook, because I'm running and doing so much at this time of year that I usually always have my phone with me. So if you want to leave a message through Facebook, I more than likely will get to that sooner than a voicemail.
Great. Thanks, Wendy. Hey, Jason, back to you. So timelines for the rest of the year. We've talked about some events, but talk about your timing for, the last couple of events. Go ahead and give those dates again too. But when you close the things out, when you're going to pick toys up, and what kind of help you need, right? Because now's a good chance to ask. Because I know it's a lot of work, but now's a good time to ask for some additional volunteers to get them involved and engaged and working with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we got the Santa Goes Blue event with Paul. Also the parade. After that, we got the December 12th is a toy drive finale that we're having at Blue Ruin. Simple. We're going to have some, you can bring your last minute toy in. There's also a downtown event happening with downtown Solar Shore, Cambridge Main Street, where a lot of shops will be open. And guys, so important to support your local businesses that are supporting others. Without supporting them, this doesn't happen. So really think small about that. Keep it simple. Shop local. So that'll happen. There's also been some other neat events pop up. So also on that 12th. We'll see how it goes, but my dad started his own little karaoke side gig for fun with some of his friends. So they're donating their time to come out to do some caroling and sing some songs and just have fun and be merry and joyful while raising some money and dropping off your last minute toy and having a drink before shopping downtown. Deeper than that, I wanted to touch on this. There has been some other businesses which has been really cool that I'd like to highlight, like Brett Dean with Farmers Insurance, Rock the Chop Tank. They've made some really nice monetary donations. Absolute Pressure Cleaning. They won a charity event and donated the money to where we're at. Thomas Jewelers, Cambridge Lions Club recently called us, which was tremendous. And it's going to continue to stack up, which is really cool. I get often asked, why have you never asked me? Because I thankfully know a lot of people. I'm never going to ask you. It's not what this is about. Good people find you is my vision with this and everyone involved with this. And I just want to do this with good people. But deeper events occurring, meaning good people find you. The Chop Tank Bowling Center recently reached out. They're going to do a bowling tournament December 16th. Paul can give you more feedback on that, but we recently, in 2 days that I'm aware of, sold it out, 55 teams. So I'm gonna coordinate a little bit more with Wendy of when she wants all these blessings brought to her, but we're trying to tap this out to everyone that is a box location with their business, to have everything delivered to us by December 14th, because we do have to do certain things to mark the toys, protecting our future with what we're doing. But also I need some people who have some hands that can to help out with maybe crossing out UPC codes and things like that. That's going to be some hours spent, I think, with that, giving my secrets away. But anyway, Paul may be able to interject a little bit about the bowling tournament. I don't know that there's any teams left, but I'm sure there's always a dropout, and we can figure that out. But yeah, more events to come hopefully next year and see where it goes.
Yeah. So the bowling event, Missy from the Chop Tank Bowling reached out to me. She wanted to do help out with the toy drive. So we partnered up and did a bowling event. So we're able to do 11 teams, so 55 total people. So it was $30 a bowler. So portion of that goes to the bowling, another portion is going to go to the toy drive. And we're also doing a little portion of that as prizes to go towards the bowlers as well. So we talked about this last Saturday with her, and we posted it up. And by that Monday, 2 days later, we literally filled 11 teams up. So that was a pretty quick outreach there, and it's amazing. It's a lot of local businesses actually put teams into this. So it's going to be a fun sort of Main Street area businesses that are all getting involved. So it's going to be a fun night for that. As of right now, Jason's right. We did sell it out, but sometimes a team might bow out. So if we do have that, I'll put something up on Facebook to let you know.
Yeah, and two, guys, I want to challenge our community. If you want to do an event surrounding things that our mission is, go for it. We don't have to give you the idea. Make it happen. It's all this is being made to happen from your soul and the bottom of your heart. So what can you do to give back? So let's go.
Cool. Great. So, and Jason touched on this, and not to divert a little bit, but it's the small businesses in the community that actually are the heartbeat of what happens here. And what you're seeing is these businesses are hurting from this year. COVID has not made, and Paul, I'm sure can tell you from Blue Ruin, he has not been able to he was closed completely for, months. And then the restrictions about how many people can have. I mean, these businesses are hurting, but they're actually out doing something for the community. And that's what they do. I mean, that's what small business owners do. And so they need you to support them. And I know it's tough now, and it's a whole lot easier to go online and order something and have it brought to your house. But take time to go out and actually support these local businesses. And whether it's a restaurant or it's a bar or it's a salon or a local market, whether it's Simmons Center Market or Emily's Produce or any local establishment, I mean, go support them, because those are the people that actually support this community when it's all said and done. They're the ones that are hiring the employees that work here and spending the money here and giving back to folks like the Salvation Army and doing those things and being involved in the toy drive. So you can help even if you're not able to help with the toy drive, you can help by just shopping locally and providing those folks support. If you're able, you don't need anything from those places, buy a gift card from them and give the gift card to the Salvation Army, and they can give that gift card out to a family to go use. So even if you're, if you want to donate, and you want to support a local business, most of them have gift cards or gift certificates that will actually provide them desperately needed cash now. And then you can use the gift card yourself later, or like I say, gift a gift card, and the term gift. And like I say, you can either give it to as a gift or give it to one of the local not-for-profits to use. There's a lot of great ways to support the businesses here. So we're coming up on time. What we'd like to do is one more time put up the contact information for Dorchester Santa, so that if you need to reach out, you want to get involved in this, if watching this show live or watching the video has moved you to get involved, here's how you do it. Call either one of those phone numbers. You can use Facebook and message us on Facebook. You can stop by the chamber, just come in and see us, and we'll get you engaged and working on that. So hopefully we were able to motivate you there. And if you could put up the contact information one more time for Salvation Army, hopefully you learned something about the Salvation Army tonight that you didn't already know, and that you understand the mission that they have. They do some wonderful things. They're very quiet about it in terms of they're not out bragging about it in the community. But they do a lot of wonderful things for folks here. And there are a lot of folks here that would not have a good holiday season if it wasn't for what the Salvation Army is out doing. So as I said at the start of this, first, I want to thank all three of our guests, Jason, Paul, and Wendy. Thank you very much for taking your time out tonight, being here. And again, thank you for everything you do in the community. You guys are great examples of leadership for what we want to see other people do in the community. So hopefully we'll see folks following in your footsteps to do things to help in the community and get things done. Again, last show for 2020. 2020 has been a tough year. So having the last of something in 2020 is not necessarily a bad thing, but we will have some great programs in 2021. So I'll be watching Facebook for that. If you have suggestions for programs you would like to see put on, make sure you reach out to us. You can reach out to any of the sponsors. Again, WHCP, Cambridge Association of Neighborhoods, Dorchester Banner, the Dorchester Star, the Dorchester Chamber of Commerce. Get in touch with any one of us if you have a concept or an idea of something you would like to see presented for the community conversations, and we will get those on for you. Again, have a very Merry Christmas, everyone. Have very safe holidays. Again, COVID's out there. Wear the mask. I won't repeat Hogan's comments just because there are children watching, but make sure you're wearing your mask. Make sure you're social distancing. Wash your hands. Take care of yourself. Take care of your families, and enjoy. Thank you, and have a great night.
Merry Christmas, Dorchester. Thank you.